microphone. How we doing? Welcome to the Muhammad Ali Center. This is our 13th year for the Daughters of Greatness program. Before I got started this morning, I'm Erin Herbert. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, I think I know most of you. I'm so happy to be in our community this year, 2024. I can't believe it, but I wanted to introduce you all to Alan Gazaway. Alan is our recently named Manager of Programs. Yes. And so from now on, if you have any questions about daughters, if you have any questions about our upcoming programs, if you get some emails from Alan about looking for your table guests or whatever else you might need to make this program a success, I wanted you all to meet him. I wanted you to see his face. He's wonderful. We're so excited to have him here at the center. He's been doing a great job with our youth programs, and I know he's going to take this program into the future as well. So everyone meet Alan. All right. We also have a few other special guests with us this morning. I believe we have 3 past Daughters of Greatness with us this morning. If I saw everyone in the room, I'm going to ask them to stand so we can give them each a round of applause. Victoria Russell over here. Dr. Renee Campbell. And Deputy Mayor Barbara Sexton-Smith. I always like to say, did I miss anyone? Okay.
Nalina Baker.
Oh my gosh, Nalina Baker! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm also so grateful for all of you, for our wonderful community, for continuing to support the Muhammad Ali Center, our mission, and this program. You know, Muhammad and Lonnie were courted by much larger cities like Las Vegas, Chicago. They wanted to have the Muhammad Ali Center, but Muhammad felt it was so important to him that he put his center into his hometown, the city that he loved. And I think in doing that, he really entrusted the people of Louisville to steward his legacy forward. And I certainly take that responsibility very seriously. And so I'm so grateful for all of you for being in partnership with us, for continuing Muhammad's life and legacy, his 6 core principles, his mission here in our community and beyond. So as always, I'd like to take a few minutes to mention you all by name. We'll hold our applause to the end because there's so many, but I will go through. Our impact sponsors, the Family Scholar House, Fifth Third Bank, Gilead, the Glenview Trust Company, Amber Holleran, Hanover College, Alice Houston, and HJI Supply Chain Solutions, iHeartMedia. Our new board member, Mary Casey, and the Kentucky Financial Group, Nimbus, Norton Healthcare, PNC, U of L Health, Wave, and Reynolds Consumer Products. Our Trailblazer sponsors, 21C, ADP, Bellarmine University, Churchill Downs, Nana Lambton, the Junior League of Louisville, Dr. Alexandra Jarosimitis, Louisville Tourism, Louisville Public Media, Passport by Molina Healthcare, and our game changer sponsors, Brown-Forman and Humana. Let's give you all a round of applause. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And now, to introduce and to welcome our next Daughter of Greatness, please welcome to the podium, Judge Jessica Green.
Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to welcome and to introduce the woman, the myth, the legend, my auntie, Laura Douglas. You all are probably familiar with the term Black Girl Magic, and she is magical. Hey, auntie. But this is not just about Black girl magic. This is Black girl tenacity. This is Black girl sacrifice. This is Black girl stick-to-itiveness. This is Black girl get back up when you are knocked down and keep churning over and over and over. This is Black girl excellence. She is truly the prototype. Now, you all know about her storied career, that she led the Ali Center Board of Directors, worked at Legal Aid Society, MSD, the Water Company, LG&E, and was the Secretary for the Public Protection and Regulation Cabinet. She is currently the President and CEO of the West End Opportunity Partnership. She's a fixer. the kind of person that you call in to do the dirty work that everybody else can't do or is too afraid to do. She carries the heavy load for all of us. What you may not know is that she comes from truly humble beginnings. Her parents, my grandparents, were sharecroppers from Alabama with third grade educations. We truly come from the cotton fields. Her father, my grandfather, lied about his age at the age of 17 to escape the Jim Crow South and went to go join the U.S. Navy. He served this country in World War II and still returned to this country, to a still segregated country. He and my grandmother recognized that education could change your lot in life. They went on to not only raise their 9 children, but to also have 8 of those 9 children not only receive college degrees, but terminal degrees in their career. My Aunt Laura is just one generation removed from sharecropping and debt bondage. Her will, determination, and strong countenance propelled her forward. As one of the eldest of the 9 children in the house, she modeled this behavior for her siblings, going on to become the first Black woman to graduate from law school at the University of Louisville. Our father, my sister and our father, her little brother, followed her to law school at the University of Louisville. My sister, both of us, practitioners of the law, are direct inheritance of her sacrifice. In the midst of raising a family and of all of her professional accomplishments, she continues to be a trusted confidant and friend to so many of us. I'd like to recognize some of the people who came out to support my aunt. Any family who's here in the building, please stand up. Wave your hand. Family. Any members of the first and the finest sorority, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, please stand up. Some of her friends from the Moles organization are here as well. If you are here, please stand up to be recognized as well. Her sister friends in the Lynx organization are also here. If you are here, please stand up as well. Her sister friends in the Girlfriends organization, if you are here, please stand up to be recognized as well. Her Republic Bank family that she served on the board for years, if you are here, please stand up to be recognized as well. And any members of the Black Lawyers Association here in Louisville. I have seen several Black practitioners, judges, and lawyers here. If you are here, please stand up to be recognized as well. Aunt Laura, I love you so much. I honor you every chance that I get. Without you, there is no us. My Aunt Laura.
Wow. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And thank you to Jessica. Jessica is a very, very special girl, as are all of my nieces and my daughter. They're all special young women. And I have to say that I am proud of them individually, but I'm also proud of the fact that they listen. They listened very carefully to their mom, to their grandmother, and to their aunts. They got it, and I'm proud of them. I'm overwhelmed to be standing here on the stage and being designated as a daughter of greatness. In the past, I had an opportunity to introduce one of the Daughters of Greatness at a program, and I kept thinking to myself, when is it going to be my turn? But today, I made it, and I am overjoyed. This institution is a special institution in our community. It stands for bringing people together. The time that I served here as the CEO was a marvelous time in my life. I learned so much from the people who worked here. And I want to encourage each of you not to make this your last or your only trip. Please come. Please come back. Now, my niece took half of my opening remarks because I was going to recognize all of my connects in the audience, and Jess went ahead and did it, which is fine. I have to reiterate how happy I am to see my Republic Bank family here, Steve and John and William, the best bank in the universe. That's what I always say about Republic. They're absolutely marvelous. And my road dog, Carol Jones Clay from the Republic. I say all the time, if you wake up one morning and you have a notion to take over the world, this is your committee chair, right here. She will get the job done. And it'll be quick and in a hurry and painless. This is your committee chair. At this table also are some of my closest friends in life, and two of my husband's very close friends, Ed Hamilton and Ken Clay. It is so wonderful that they came to be with me this morning. I love you dudes. You dudes are, I love an old school man. There's nothing like him. I like the bossiness, the outspokenness, the you can't tell me what to do, I'm going to take over any kind of setting I'm in. I love it. That's what us old school chicks like anyway. And they do it with abandon, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Now, I also have to acknowledge that my favorite and my best OG is not here with me this morning. He passed last year in this month on the 8th of February, Bob Douglas, my husband of 44 years. He was an altogether magnificent man. Everything about him was just tremendous. When he passed away after 44 years of marriage, I thought I was going to go with him. After all, he had taken my heart with him, and I couldn't imagine how I was going to continue. But here I am, thanks to my nieces, my children, my nephews, my entire family, and my girls. You ladies have held me up, all of you in the organizations that Jess has mentioned. You are wonderful. Your grit, your love, your caring is wonderful. And I have more to say about that later as I talk about our responsibility as women. Now, you heard Jess talk about my humble beginnings, our humble beginnings. My parents growing up on a sharecropper's farm and my grandparents being sharecroppers in rural Alabama. If you worked a sharecropper's farm in rural Alabama and you moved north, this is north, Kentucky, based on Alabama, this is north, and you are able to move your family north and continue to live, you are made out of iron. You are made out of iron, and you understand that life is not a plaything. It is not a plaything. You must take it seriously, and to be successful at it, you have to have a game plan. You must have a game plan. Daily, my parents indoctrinated us regarding expectations. Daily. And they did not fail to tell us the stories of the rural South and what they had overcome. Night riders, being chased by the Klan, not being able to complete their education. All of the horrors of the South they experienced firsthand. And the pride that they felt was palpable. And they passed that on to us. As a young child growing up, I thought all the time about what my family overcame. And when I was in law school and I had professors who would not call on me in class, even if I was the only one raising my hand to answer the question, because they could not tolerate the presence of an African American woman, I said to myself as they ignored me, I've got grit. My family was chased by the Klan. This professor cannot intimidate me. He has no clue who I am, what I've planned for my life, what my parents planned for my life, and I plan to accomplish my objectives. I wear it as a badge of honor, and we continue, my brothers and sisters and I, to share those stories of the rural South with our children and grandchildren because it makes a difference. One of the stories that my mother told me that I remember very well, and I roll it in my mind all the time. She told me that there were many times after she had worked the fields and she came home, she had a plot of flowers beside their front step. She would work her own plot of flowers, and she said sometimes she would miss the evening meal with her family because she wanted to stay there and work that plot of flowers. My mother found joy in the midst of that horror. She found beauty in the midst of that horror, and she escaped into her own mind and held herself up. That's strength. That's strength. I owe it to my parents. I owe it to my parents to be a dignified, forward-looking, involved person in this community and in this world. Surely, with what they dealt with and overcame, I can deal with the world around me. Now, thinking about the plans that my parents had and how they deliberately kept those plans and taught them to us and went over the plan ad infinitum, I developed a strong sense of agency and personal responsibility. It was my responsibility to do what I needed to do to push my life forward. It was my responsibility to learn what I needed to learn to assist myself and to assist my community. It was my responsibility to lead, since they prepared me with the skills that I needed to lead. Thinking about their stories as well, it has caused me to abhor bullies. That is one thing that I cannot abide, and I will lose my dignity in the face of a bully, because my first instinct, well, I won't go there. I won't go there. Suffice it to say that I abhor bullies. And that is one thing that all of my sisters, we have that feeling viscerally. My oldest sister, Gloria, and we call her Sissy, is 4'11", And I have these vivid memories in our childhood. We lived next door to a family of five boys, and those boys were absolutely wild. Daily, they would pull pranks on us, and one of my fondest memories is seeing my oldest sister, tiny as she was, chasing them down the street with a stick. She thought, how dare you presume to boss us around? And as small as she was not intimidated, and she was incensed by their gall, them thinking that they could push us around, and she was going to do something about it. So at any rate, it's like, you know, we just lose our minds in the face of bullies. We have to do something about it. Now, the other really strong trait that has come to us is we believe we can meet any challenge. We saw our parents do it, and we have in our own minds that we can do it. It just takes a moment to develop a plan. My sister, Sissy, and I often joke about how we, if we end up in hell, can devise a plan to get out of there. All it takes is to be deliberate and focused. So we don't see problems and challenges in life as insurmountable. Take a few minutes and think through it, and you can overcome whatever the challenge is. And that is a lesson particularly for women. That's a lesson that I have taught my daughter. My husband's name was Bob, and my daughter, my youngest daughter, I sometimes call her Bobette. She, as focused and as strong as Bob was in getting his point across, I have seen my daughter back her dad into a corner if she thought she was right about something, and he would just step out of the way after she explained herself. Now, she was not doing it in any kind of wild, out of control way, but she has the presence of mind to press her point. She's in corporate America now. She's at Ralph Lauren, and many of you know that she was one of the folks responsible for the Spelman Morehouse line at Ralph Lauren. And she would tell me stories of how she had to behave in some of those meetings. But this is it. This is the message that she got from me. And this is part of what I want to talk to you about this morning. The way she got her point across was to speak carefully, deliberately, and insistently. She did not raise her voice, cuss, and scream. She met every challenge logically and pushed that challenge back. Now, in the face of adversity, the expected reaction is hysteria. It really catches people off guard. If you can maintain your cool and you can press your point. Now, many of the ladies in the audience who stood and were members of the same organizations that I am a member of, and who have held me up, especially this past year after the passing of my husband. Some of these ladies I refer to as old school chicks. Now, my daughter has told me to stop referring to myself as a boomer. She said it's a turn off. People don't like that. So I have to come up with another nomenclature, and so my nomenclature is old school chicks. Now, we old school chicks have a certain approach to life. We are dignified. You don't see us out in the street acting a nut. You don't. But let me tell you, we can carpet bomb, we can scorch earth, We can strangle and hang, but you can't trace it back to us. We are like the stealth bomber. We swoop in, get the job done, and we're gone. You never know what hit you, and you cannot look at us and decide that's the person who's been acting up. That's not how we behave in public. Now, we have been criticized for it, but I want to tell you that that is one of our greatest strengths. We are masterful at it. We have been greatly criticized for it, but that's how we get things done. I would caution the young women in the audience to think about it and to figure out how you can adopt the same posture. I would also submit to you that maintaining your cool in public, even when confronted by someone who may be using colorful language, maintaining your cool is not a show of fear. It's a show of strength. If you can maintain your cool when someone is in your face pointing a finger, you are controlling the situation. It also gives you time to calmly plot out how you're going to trip them down a flight of stairs, and they won't know that you're doing it. You cannot telegraph your moves. You do not want dirt coming back to you. And again, we old school chicks, we are the master of getting the job done with a smile on our face, designer shoes on, and you don't know we're the ones that just slit your throat. Now let that soak in. At least let that soak in. Okay? Now you ladies know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Because that's a way of life for us. We've perfected it. We've perfected it, and I encourage everyone else to get on board. Get on board with it. Now, in this day and age, as we look around and we see what's happening on the national stage, it is clear to me that this society needs women of courage, needs women who can stand in the face of adversity, needs women who can figure the crap out, and who have the good sense and the courage to step forward and take the reins. The society needs us. There is no reason for us to be coy and to hang back. We have to step forward and do something about what we see. The commonality among all of us women is we are the center. We are the center of life. We are the center of society. We bring civility. We bring civility to everything that we touch, but we also are very powerful because we are in a position not only to do it ourselves, to stand out and get the job done, but to influence others. I'm pleased to see the young faces in the audience this morning. I'm hopeful that I have imparted some wisdom to you. And to my old school chicks, let's keep on rolling, okay? Let's keep on rolling. It is up to us to get the job done. Thank you for this honor. I'm enormously grateful. I was going to try to escape, but I'm told I have to answer some questions if you have questions. No questions? Okay. All righty. Now let me ask something too. I know the organizations that Jess mentioned. If you are a Link, a girlfriend, an Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority member, if you are a mole, I would dearly love to have my picture taken with you this morning before we leave. So let's kind of hang out a little bit if you have the time. Okay.
Oh, in the back there.
I do have a question, Laura. I believe in everything that you said. Can the room hear me? Everything that you said, your parents instilled in you and all the adversaries you've overcome. I'm in therapy now. I'm not ashamed of it. And she tells me I'm wrong for wanting the same thing for my kids. How do I translate that into something therapeutic for my kids?
Let me make sure I understand. That you're wrong for what with your children? What?
Was that again, Laura?
I want the last part you were saying that you've been told you're wrong.
The drive.
Okay.
The family. The thinking about your family when you make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
The doing better for the next generation. Those kind of values.
Mm-hmm.
And my therapist tells me that I can't impart my hopes and dreams and everything I didn't do on my kids.
Okay. Okay. Okay, for those of you who did not hear, she was saying that she has been told that she is wrong for trying to impart upon her children being thoughtful about their hopes and dreams and planning out their life. She's been told that she needs to just drop it and leave them alone. Let me say this. Whoever told you that is from the planet Twilo, as far as I'm concerned. So I would just ignore them. Now it was a different kind of day and time when I was growing up, but I'm going to tell you literally, my parents picked our friends. They picked our friends. If they didn't know your mama and daddy, we could not associate with you. They decided what we listened to on the radio, what we watched on the TV, and where we went. And you better not think you were going to rebel against that. You had to listen. They had a plan. Now, I understand that's difficult to do now with internet and all of that, but there is still a way to impart purposeness to your children. And I think one of those ways is by letting them in on what their family history is and translating things for them that they see and taking them out into the world and showing them, even at an early age, how they can be of service. What they can do, even as a young person, as a grade schooler, to connect with community. To connect with community. One of the things that we try to teach the young people in our family is that whole notion about how you are connected to community. That you have responsibility. That you may be in a place of privilege, just if you look at the empirical facts, but you are connected to that child that you go to school with who is on free and reduced lunch. That's your brother. You are connected to that kid, and you two have to figure out how to work together. It's a challenge sometimes to get that done, but it's important to do that. And as far as a mother imparting her expectations to her children, I wish somebody would try to tell me what I can instruct my children and grandchildren to do. I'm very insidious with it. Like this morning, before I came, one of the rituals that I do is I have a granddaughter who goes to Central High School, and she lives way in the southwest part of Jefferson County. I live in the Chickasaw neighborhood, about a half a block from the river. There's several times a week that I go all the way out to where she lives and I drive her downtown to Central. You would be amazed of what you can learn sitting in that car with Granny. And my granddaughter tells me all the time, she said, "Granny, you're my ride or die." I said, yes, I am. Yes, I am. The things that she will tell me, the little thoughts that she lets me in on. It's important. It's a way to begin. I don't want to call it indoctrination, but it is a way to get that child to think about herself in an expansive way. And I'm going to tell you, nobody can boss that girl around. Nobody. No one can put in her head an idea that's not in her best interest. She thinks too much of herself to do something crazy. But if she does do something crazy, she knows Granny got her. That's what I'm saying. I'm her ride or die, and she knows it. Yes. Any other questions? Oh,
Yes.
Jennifer!
This is my amazing Aunt Laura. So much of who I am, for whatever it's worth, is a direct reflection of you.
So
And I am, you know, as I proceed in my corporate America, corporate politics, organizational dynamics, I am confounded and have so much more appreciation for you as a Black woman, having come up through the ranks and rise to the highest level of these organizations that were not built for us. And you also had a family. You had dinner to cook. You had homework to review. You had activities to shuffle kids back and forth with. And really, I'm just amazed. I'm looking for the cheat code. Sheryl Sandberg has become a millionaire many times over, telling people how to lean in. There are books and think pieces and op-eds about work-life balance and work-life equilibrium. All these things were not talked about as you were coming through the ranks. And so please impart upon us the wisdom of how you were able to bring harmony and have a fruitful, bountiful 44-year marriage, raise highly successful children, have friends who can depend on you in times of need, and drive your career and your professional pursuits to the highest heights. Any words of wisdom that you can impart on us today?
Oh, wow. This child. Well, first, let me tell you about my niece. Okay? My niece, Harvard undergraduate, Columbia Law School, Columbia Law Review. She wasn't just playing in law school. She was on the law review at Columbia. A very, very bright young woman, and I'm extremely proud of her. And what I would say to you, Jen, and to every young woman in the audience, think in your mind what is important to you. My marriage was important to me. Nothing surpassed the importance of my children and my dreams for their own achievement. I did what needed to be done. When I worked in Frankfurt for Governor Patton, there were many, many evenings. I came home, kicked off my shoes, cooked dinner, did homework, because it was important and it needed to be done. I was their only mom. They didn't have a spare in the closet. I was it, and I had to fulfill that role. And again, I told myself, my parents were able to achieve so much with much less than I had, much fewer resources. If they could lay out a plan and work that plan and sacrifice, surely I could do it. The stakes were too high to fail. Now, I know this may not sound, like, it doesn't sound like fun. And I'm not offering any shortcuts because there are no shortcuts. Get the job done. Your children are important. They are the most important thing that you have around you because they're going to be your legacy. They're going to reflect on you. They are. And your family, that's your solace. My household with my bossy take charge husband, that was my solace. I thought he hung the moon. It didn't matter to me. I would tell other people, you don't have to listen to him. He runs my life, but he doesn't have to run. Don't let him run yours. But he would attempt to do that too. Didn't he, Carol? He was just like, what's important to you, you have to cover it. And pray. Have faith and pray for strength. That's it.
We have time for one. We have time for one more question. Anybody? Oh, y'all making me work this morning. And a long stride for a reason.
Hi, good morning. My name's Erica. This morning you talked a lot about, as a woman, stepping into your power, being able to harness that power and finding your voice. And as someone who is in more of the beginning of my career, I was wondering if you could share with me some of those concrete experiences that gave you learning opportunities that allowed you to find your voice and to step into your own power.
Okay. Now, the first thing that I tell young people as they're starting out in their career, the first thing you have to do is to master the content. Don't half-step on the substance. Whatever your responsibilities are, whatever the subject matter is for which you're responsible, make up your mind that no one is going to know more about it than you do. You put in the time, the sweat, the late nights to learn it and to up your performance, period. That's the first thing. Because once you do that, the folks who work around you will understand that when you open your mouth, you have something of value to add. So the first thing, master your craft. Do it. My mother used to say to all of us, she'd say, baby, there may be a whole lot of folks in the world who are smarter than you are. But you can make up your mind today that nobody is going to outwork you. If it's knowable, you can know it if you're willing to put in the work. So that's the first thing. Put in the work, master your craft. And then you can add value in any setting you're in. And that's how you get noticed. And when you do that, keep doing it. Don't let anyone chisel away at it. Don't let anyone pretend that you have not mastered your craft, because you know you're putting in the late nights. You're doing what needs to be done to stay at a certain knowledge level. So that's my best advice. Yes.
Past Daughters of Greatness in Maryland to join us up here on stage. And while they're doing that, I'm going to scoot this over a little. Thank you, Alan, so we can have a nice picture here. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Perfect. That's great. Thank you. That's great. Let's all come on up and surround Laura up here. And so let me go ahead and get our certificate here. Laura,